So today guys, we're going to be installing the new Turbosmart recirculation valve for the Golf. Stay tuned to see how it's done in the installation, and then I'll do another video about the review. Hey up everybody, it's Josh again, and today join me in the garage where we're going to be doing an unboxing and installation tutorial. Now this valve was kindly given to me by Nick at A18 Motorsport yesterday at the bag open day. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link down below for you guys to watch it. It was a great day with some brilliant cars there as well. Now this Turbosmart recirculation valve is a new development for the Golf, so it's more of a testing phase than anything. They have used it over in Australia and seen benefits on standard stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3 cars up to and over 500 brake horsepower. So what we're going to do, we're going to unbox it, have a look what's inside. I'm going to tell you roughly how to fit it, and then we're going to go outside and put it on my Golf. So you'll have to excuse the mess in the garage. I've got all the tools here ready to do it, but we've got the coffee because it's Sunday morning. We've got the box here for Turbosmart. As it says here, if you're looking for fitting instructions, you can get them online and it's done via diagram. It's a very, very good thing to look at. Got a Turbosmart sticker, I don't know if you guys can see that there. Got the bolts which hold the recirculation valve in. So I couldn't actually get this out with one hand, but if you have a look at it here, it's all one piece. Got the bolt holes there, there and there. Got the plug which replaces the OEM one. Now, because this is one piece, it is very easy to fit. Nick at A18 Motorsport mentioned if you've got any mechanical competence whatsoever, you should have no problem in fitting this. So what we'll do, I'm just going to get the car ready to do it. We'll have a look to see how to do it, and I'll let you know if there's any problems that I come across. And then as I said, I'll do a review afterwards, which is going to be a separate video on what the benefits are of using this. Okay guys, so before we start, I wanted to run through what I use to be able to do this. Now I'm doing this after the video that I've just filmed. So mole grips, that's to take off the initial pipe towards the airbox. Got a 6mm spanner. This is key. You need this to be fairly small so you can get down the side and unwind it. You'll probably only find that you'll get a couple of movements out of it, and then you can turn it around just so it's a bit easier to get to. Got the Torx bolt, I believe it's 25mm, don't quote me on that, but that allows us to then move the oil breather pipe out of the way and then to get the elbow off. I use this Allen key here, I believe it's either 8 or 9mm, to get the bolts out of the original Recirc valve and to also put the new ones in. And then this is just a handy tool. You don't particularly need this, but this is a magnetic tool that I spoke about earlier, so you can go like this, and this just makes sure that you don't actually lose any of the bolts. So we're just going to have a quick look. I've opened the bonnet already just to see where it goes. So got the pipe which goes around the back there. You need to take that off, and you can actually see it just there. That's the plug that we're replacing. So it's relatively easy to get to. The only obstruction that I see is there's a clamp just down there holding the pipe on, which might be a little bit difficult to get out, but we'll have a look at it. I'll find a tool to do it and then we'll get on with it. So I've just got some mole grips just to get the clamp off of the original air pipe that goes to the turbo. And there we have it. There, it's off. So as I just mentioned, we've just taken this off, so we've got some vice grips, pull them apart. This pulls off fairly easily now. You can actually see the clamp just down there, just there. Really, really awkward to get to. So we're just going to try and get a little spanner just to get to it. Hopefully we'll be able to get it off and then we can get on with installing the Recirc valve. So we're just using an extremely small spanner to be able to get to it. Be careful with this one because you don't want to drop it into the engine bay. I'll show you what we've used in a second. I've just been using this, I'm not sure what mil it is, 6mm there, but what we managed to do is if you undo it a little bit, you can turn that around and it just makes it a bit easier to get to, just under there. I don't know if you can see it properly. Right, so as you can see, we've got the pipe off now. I've got it in my hand here now. This little clip here was the little bugger that did it. So it is quite small and it's in right an awkward place. Now I don't know if that's there as standard, but what we're going to do is we're going to turn that around when we put it back on, just to make it a bit easier for if we needed to do anything else. So what's left to do now, you can see the turbo elbow just here, that needs to come off. You can see the existing valve just there as well, so once we've got the elbow off, it should be fairly easy going from there. The next steps are to take this plug out here, take this plug out there, undo that little bolt down there, and then this can turn upwards, so that way, and then it pulls out. So just having a look at how to get this pipe off just here. So you need to squeeze the 2 clips on here to pull that out. There's a Torx bit at the back there which will then allow this to turn. You need to get in there to take that out, and that's for the original dump valve. Pull that back and then all that will come out. So we'll just do that now. So if you've got a standard car, this can be quite difficult because it's quite stiff. I'm just trying to do it now to get a grip of the clamps. It's not coming out, so I'm just going to have a quick look to see what I can use to get it out, and then we'll get on with it. So I was being stupid, so the clamps are just this part here, 12 and 6. So if you lift that part off now, that's the oil breather pipe off. So we just need to get this Torx bit out. That'll allow us to move this around, and then we can pull this out as well. So we're just going to be pulling the Torx bit out now. And quick top tip, I'm just going to go into the garage so I can get this thing. So this thing is magnetic, gets things on the end, and it stops bolts from losing you, and you don't want a bolt to go down into your engine bay. So if you've got one of these, then use it, 'cause it's highly recommended for that Torx bit as well. It's quite large. It wasn't so difficult to get it out, to be fair. It just takes a while, and it's in a bit of a funny spot. So yeah, use one of them if you can. If not, you should be able to get out with your fingers just by how long it is. And now we'll be taking off the original Recirc valve plug, and then we'll be getting the turbo elbow off as well. So as you can see here, I've just turned this back, so if you go back like that, it's normally a bit further down, so you take that out, push it towards a firewall, and then the turbo elbow comes out like that. Okay, so there's a clip on this right hand side here, I don't know if you can see it. You need to pull that up, and then that comes off like that. So as you can see there's 3 bolts. There's one just under there, there's this one here, and there's one at the bottom as well, just to take the Recirc valve out. The only thing that we found with this one is the one underneath, which is just under there, can be quite fiddly to get out. The other ones aren't too bad. We've just got one left to do now, so we've taken that one off, and there's one underneath there. So using this to get that one, it's a little bit difficult to get with your hands. Just down there, it's a little bit fiddly, and with fat fingers it's not easy. Had to sort of double team it, but as you can see there, that's where the new one goes, and you can see the bolts where it goes into as well. After a bit of stupidity, I didn't actually think that this fit back into here, but I completely forgot that there's a clip on there that you need to pull back to allow this to get in fully. And this just goes to prove that if I can do this, then anybody can fit it. So we're just going to take this apart now, get it all fitted. I'll show you the installation of the valve. I won't bore you with everything going back into the car in terms of the standard parts, apart from the oil breather pipe and the turbo pipe, as they have a specific sequence to go in. And then we'll have a look and a listen once it's done. So we're taking the plug back off so we can put the diverter valve into place. I'm going to put this top bolt in here, just so it holds it into place so we can get the other bolts in fairly easily. So what we're finding is the other 2 bolts are a little hard to get into, purely because of the location of them, but I think if we use a long Allen key we might be able to get it in fine. So we managed to get this second one into here. We just used a fairly long Allen key, the bolt stuck to it, and then I used the magnetic device just so it held it in place, just in case it did let go. But as you can see, we've got the top 2 in now, just the one that's below to go. So all 3 bolts are in now. What I'd recommend is doing this top one here tight so that it keeps the other threads in place. So we're just going to tighten them all up properly now, and then it's back on with the oil breather hose and the turbo elbow, and then it's the reassembly of the airbox. So the turbo elbow is back on. We're just going to put the screw into the back there just to secure it. So getting the turbo elbow on was a bit of a pain. You just have to make sure it's lined up with that thread that's just through there. Got a bit of a cut, got a bit of a scrape, but you don't do car parts without getting an injury. So we'll put the oil breather pipe back in. You have to push that down to make sure it's fully clicked. It may click twice. And then what I'm just going to do now is I'm going to put these 2 together, and then we can reassemble the part from here to there, and then we're all done. So I made an amateur mistake. My camera died halfway through filming it, It was towards the end actually when we was putting the car back together, so I'll run through what we did before the last video ended, and then we'll have a talk around what I feel like. I've been out for a drive in it. I'll give you a bit of a first review, and then I'll bring another one out once I've had a couple of days of living with it. So excuse the wind noise if there is any. Pop this open. This is filthy, by the way. So bonnet is open. A little latch. Open it up. So where we last left off, we was putting this on to here. So it was a bit of a pain simply because getting this bolt to line up there was quite difficult, but if you use a flashlight you can see it easily enough. You can just about see the new valve there, that's the top of it there. So you pop this back on, mole grips to get that back into place, and that was it. Just to give you a quick run through, take this off, pull the pipe out of the bottom there with the clamp just at the back. You need to take this oil breather pipe off, which is 2 clips that you push together, pull out. You then need to take that Torx bolt out of there. What that'll allow you to do is move this around to the side. You then need to grab the elbow, which is just at the back there, push it towards the back, lift it out. Then you need to unclip that, and there's a little clip on there that you do. 3 bolts, which, let's see if you can see any. You can't quite see them, but there's 3 bolts. There's one there, one at the back and one underneath, which you undo to take out the recirculation valve, and then you reverse the process to put it all back in. So there we have it, guys. That's how to put the Turbosmart recirculation valve onto the Golf. Took me around an hour or so to be able to do it. I'm not mechanically minded whatsoever. I did have a little bit of help because it was difficult filming whilst doing it at the same time, and my tripod isn't quite big enough to do it. But in all, it didn't take that long. I did it wearing a white t-shirt, didn't get mucky, got a couple of scrapes, I don't know if you can see that there, but you can't expect anything else when you're putting car parts on. And a massive thank you to Nick again for providing me with the valve. I did go out for a quick drive after I fit it. There's a lot of turbo noise there to say it's a standard car. I did have the radio turned down just so I could listen out for anything, but there's quite a bit of turbo flutter. The car feels a bit more urgent, a bit more on the ball, and I think that's because the boost is being recirculated as opposed to being dumped into the atmosphere. If anyone is interested, I will leave a link to the AET Motorsport website so you can go grab your own. I believe there is going to be a little bit of a wait between ordering one and getting one, simply because they come from Australia and these are a new development, so this is the first batch of ones that have come across to the UK. Highly recommend going down there for any tuning works. They are an APR dealer as well, and APR is one of the best for any MQB cars, VAG, Audi, Seat, Skoda, everything like that. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video and found this helpful, please click like and subscribe. Keep up to date with what I'm doing. If you want me to do some more installation videos, and drop it down in the comments. I will be doing quite a bit on my car over the next couple of months, 6 months, 12 months and thereafter. And if you guys want to see it, I'm more than happy to have a crack at it. But until next time, I'll see you then.